What is the likelihood that our opponent is going to dispatch our Primeval Titan in Game 1 here? Just a way to answer it permanently. I think it's pretty low. Hello and welcome everybody. We are back here for round 4 with the list you see on screen. And yes, if you were wondering, my hair is way shorter than usual. I cut it, and that's all that needs to be said about it. Yeah, I will see you guys in the games. By the way, I should mention that we are currently 2-1, and if you haven't seen match 1, where you can find all the details for this particular deck list and why the choices that are being made, then check out match 1. We're playing against Pleasant Kenobi. Interesting. And we have a turn 1 Saga, turn 2 Explore kind of hand, which means on turn 3 when we get an Amulet, if we have any ramp spell like a Grazer or an Azusa, so any +1 ramp spell, then we can cast Titan. I mean, I definitely think we keep this. Probably fetching a basic with this Misty. It depends on what our opponent is playing, of course. We'll lead on Saga, of course, trying to get this Amulet on suspend, you know. You know the drill. See what Pleasant Kenobi is on. What is that one? Oh, it's an artifact land. It's the blue-white artifact land. So we're playing against a Affinity deck, which is probably good news for us. We're playing a matchup that very much is not going to answer our Titan. I guess they could have the 1-mana instant dispatch. But other than that, we don't really have a whole lot to worry about here. Dryad is a nice pickup. Alright, well, we'll just let this resolve. We'll fetch for basic, of course, to save life against this board of motley crew. We'll play Explore, probably put Growth Chamber into play depending on what we draw, and then, yeah, see where we can go from there. We could also draw a Garenbrig, and that would let us cast a Titan here on this upcoming turn. We'll Explore. Well, we have a Titan, actually, so I guess we do have a Titan ready to go, since we can just pack for Azusa or Grazer, depending on the situation. Probably Grazer, I think, is better, so we can block a flyer if they have a Cranial Plating, Thought Monitor. Card Advantage, I mean, that's good for them, but we don't really care that much. They have the 4/4 as well. I mean, they got a big board, but we got a big Titan, so... Affinity has traditionally always been a pretty good matchup for Amulet. We'll see if that rings true here. We'll float, of course, and we'll sack and get an Amulet. And I think I do want to go with Grazer, assuming we have enough green. I'll have to double-check that. So, we play Bounce Land, float 5, use the green, leaving 4 floating, including 1 green, to Grazer out Bounce Land. And that'll be up to 6 mana. We cast Titan. Yeah, so I think a Grazer works fine here. So we'll go ahead and pact. Not sure if we should be hasting our Titan into this board. We'll see. We will play a Bounce Land. Can always deal to Amulets here. Actually, now I'm realizing that we can't haste Titan because we have the Garrison in hand anyways, so no need to worry about it. We do need to make sure we're not dying to our Summoner's Pact, of course. It should be easy enough, I would think. Are we cycling this Explorer? It's an interesting question. So, Titan ETB gets a Valakut and a land. Or Valakut and a Bounce Land. We float, pick up the Valakut, play Dryad. Play Valakut. I think that's the best that we can do here post-combat. Or not post-combat, post-resolving Titan. I guess we could get Crumbling Vestige and Valakut. Then play a Bounce Land, Explore, pick up the Vestige, play Vestige, and see what happens then. I mean, let's play the Titan first. Don't want to accidentally explore into the Crumbling, although I guess that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. We'll always yield here. We'll say yes. What is the likelihood that our opponent is going to dispatch our Primeval Titan in Game 1 here? Just a way to answer it permanently. I think it's pretty low. And if we set up Valakut plus Dryad anyways, then we don't really need Titan necessarily, so... Alright, I think Crumbling Vestige plus Valakut is a good line. And we'll yield to the vestige, of course. And we're not going to leave ourselves dead to Pact by losing our Dryad. Like, if they have a way to kill the Dryad, then we don't have enough green. So we're going to leave a green bounce land in play here. Most probably. There's a Dryad. Here's a Simic Growth Chamber. We'll pick up the Crumbling here. We'll cast Explore and see what we see. Vesuva. Interesting. Well, I mean, I guess we're just Vesuvaing the Valcut and passing it back. I find it unlikely they're going to kill our Dryad and also destroy one of our lands. So I think just Vesuva copying Valcut is just fine here. And the next turn we have land into second land drop to get double Valcut triggers, and that should be pretty good. Assuming that they don't kill our Titan, then we can also attack and get lethal that way. So looking pretty good here. Cranial Plating. Well, luckily we packed for a creature with reach so that we don't get got by Cranial Plating. Not that it really makes a difference. I don't think they can equip at instant speed here, so we'll just block the 2 because this one does, in fact, have reach. Value. We know the trick. They're checking to see if we knew that our own Grazer has reach. Well, we do know that. We'll pay for our pact and get a billion Valcut triggers, and that'll be the game! They don't even have white mana up to dispatch Dryad, so we basically just win on the spot here. Hit yes. Draw. Second Amulet, huh? I mean, we could try to get fancy and do some double strike stuff here. I guess if we attack, we don't have to attack with the Dryad. We attack with the Titan, get Vesuva, and fetch land, play land, fetch. That's definitely lethal. So let's just go to combat and kill our opponent here. Not attacking with the Dryad, of course. Yep. We'll get second Valcut and fetch land. I said Vesuva before, but the Vesuva, of course, is already in play, so save targets upstairs, stack some amulets. We'll always, yes, always, yes, always, yes, always yield. Untap some things. Put them to 2. And, of course, we're going to save this fetch to do in response to the last lethal Valcut trigger. We play land, Valcut triggers go on the stack. If they interact with Dryad, then we fetch in response and get another land and kill them that way. So that plays around an additional removal spell if they didn't already cast it for whatever reason. We bring in Explosives here for their 0 drops and things along those lines. We could bring in Pithing Needle for their Cranial Plating, which is actually not the worst. I don't know if it's really the best, though. Obviously, we want the artifact destruction, the hate. We want all of it. Dismember is debatable. Hitting a creature they're trying to equip with Cranial Plating is important, but other than that, it doesn't really do a whole lot, and losing 4 life, like, previous Affinity lists played things like, Seal Overseer that you would want to dismember, or Master of Ethereum, perhaps. If you could kill it, you might want to dismember that, but I'm not sure that there's a whole lot to actually be dismembering here. I think we'll bring in a couple, and if we see reason to bring in the third, then we will. Actually, I don't think we want Ghost Quarter, because I'm pretty sure New Affinity doesn't even play any creature lands like Inkmoth and Blinkmoth. They might. I guess because they might, I'll bring in one. We obviously don't need Cavern in this matchup. No counterspells, most likely. I mean, they do have the blue splash, but I'm not worried about it, really. Explorers are a little slow, and Grazers are obviously amazing. We can trim 1 Pact, I think. I wouldn't want to trim more than that, though, just because we don't want to have to Pact, play something, it gets removed, and then we have to pay for the Pact and die over the course of 2 turns. That would be kind of sad. Do we want the Needle? Do we want the Needle? I don't know. We could also name Urza's Saga. Even though it would stop us from activating to get a dude, it would stop them from getting a bigger dude, so that it probably is relevant, but it's also a little slow. I'm not convinced that Needle is very good here. I think we can just trim Explore entirely. Again, I'm really just not sold that these dismembers are doing anything for us. I actually think we're just supposed to cut dismember and hit submit here. Might be weird. Well, we'll see after game 2 here. They could even have, I guess, like something like Blood Moon or something would be pretty hilarious out of the sideboard from their list. All I remember seeing in game 1 is blue. I'm pretty sure there was another color. It was white, that's right. So they could have Dispatch. And I mean, we have a turn 1 Grazer to stem the bleeding. We have Foundation Breaker to interact. We have very close to Titan mana pretty quickly. So, I mean, we're going to keep this. It's not, like, perfect or anything, but it works. Our opponent's trying to put a bunch of 4-mana 2/2s into play, and we'll just block them with Arboreal Grazer. Shadow Spear. That's interesting. Our opponent did lead on turn 1 Saga, by the way. Alright, well, we'll just use a fetch land here, get a basic, and put our Grazer into play, of course. I suppose it would be pretty nonsensical for our opponent's Urza Saga deck to be playing Blood Moon, huh? Wonder if they give us a relevant Foundation Breaker target here. Welding Jar. That one's kind of annoying. Now that we can't actually break or anything. I guess this is Artifact. Well, we can still kill the Saga, actually. That is probably worth it, I would think. Yeah, and I guess we play the fetch out so we can get a breeding pool. Just to make it a little easier to potentially transmute Tolaria West. I mean, we could save the fetch for Dryad. I think it's pretty marginal. Let's lead on the Foundation Breaker, I suppose. Just evoking it out for 2 mana. Get rid of this Urza Saga. We do not like it. Boom. Gone. Out of here. Yep. And we'll sack the Foundation Breaker, of course. We could actually even just play Simic Growth Chamber here, and that wouldn't be, like, the craziest. Then we could fetch Shock and be able to transmute this exact upcoming turn if we needed to. I don't mind that. It's probably better than just outright fetching. And then still being a turn delayed. Maybe 2 turns delayed from transmuting. Now if we top deck Tolaria West, we'll feel very good about ourselves. Seems like our opponent might have been relying on this Saga a little bit. I guess they were going to search for Springleaf Drum to produce some more mana and up their artifact count. Very nice that Welding Jar can't protect their Urza Saga. Very cool stuff there. Just when we thought our Foundation Breaker might become irrelevant, nope, Urza Saga comes in as a beautiful little tool for us to snipe with Foundation Breaker. How about that? Wouldn't mind to draw a Saga of our own here. We could get some constructs to put some roadblocks down and then get a map and transmute and get a Tolaria West to transmute. You know, or we could just top deck a Titan. That would be good too. Our opponent's stuck in their attack phase here. Thinking about whether or not to attack into our Arboreal Grazer with their Ornithopter. You know, actually, now I'm thinking about it, they had 1 mana from the Saga. They could have paid 1 to... Oh, it's 2 to equip. I thought it was 1 to equip. Okay, never mind. Dryad. That's a pretty good one. Alright, we'll play the fetch land. We're not going to crack it. And of course, we want to play land first here so that if we were to play a land with a trigger, then we get our second land drop out of the Dryad. Because if we played Dryad, played Simic Growth Chamber, and then tried to play a land after, and they killed the Dryad in response to the bounce trigger, then we would not get our second land drop, as the Dryad would be dead, so... Alright, we'll just pass it back. Again, at this point, we just need to find a Titan or something, so... Now that we have Dryad in play, Valakut would also be pretty decent. They have a second Saga. And pass. Whew. It must be rough for them. Titan. No. Okay. Well, I think because we already have Dryad in play, I think we want to keep the bounce land in hand here so that we can use it with Valakut. And if we do lose our Dryad and still top deck a Tolaria West, we can fetch Shock and transmute that way. So fine to hold on to the Growth Chamber here, I think. And I'm pretty interested in clocking with the Dryad here. Putting them down to 18 is actually a pretty Valakut relevant number, so... And I find it unlikely they're going to have anything hasty that our Dryad needs to block here, so... I guess they could have Bomat Courier. That would be a potential punish. Cranial Plating, okay. Alright, Titan off the top one more time. Come on. Titan. Arboreal Grazer. Well, that's not exactly Primeval Titan. we might even just hold on to it in case we draw a Valcut so we can get an extra Valcut trigger. So I am still swinging into their board with this Dryad, of course. They're about to sack Saga and get something. I don't know what it would be at this point. Probably... I mean, Pithy Needle naming Windswept Heath would do absolutely nothing. They could get Pithy Needle naming Tolaria West. That wouldn't be the worst. Springleaf Drum. Yeah, that makes sense. I kind of figured that might be coming, but... And they also top-decked an actual land, finally. We were getting kind of lucky on their draws. Although, I guess, to be fair, hitting their Urza Saga with Foundation Breaker was quite relevant, but... Thought Monitor. Alright. Drawing some cards over here. See what kind of board state they can produce. I got a Lifelink Trample Thought Monitor. I guess the Trample could be quite annoying. Alright. One more time. Titan off the top. Let's go! That is not Primeval Titan deck. I don't think you understand how this deck works. Definitely not swinging for the value points of 2 damage here. As the only result would be our opponent gaining 3. And again, holding this Grazer for the same reason as before. Although, admittedly, we might just need to play it out. Thought Monitor, okay. They ping one with a Spire of Industry. Oh no. They Thought Cast. Well, they're definitely on a heavy blue splash here. I don't know if I could consider that a heavy blue splash, actually, considering it's Thought Monitor and Thought Cast, but regardless. They're just going off. They're doing all the artifact shenanigans. They're on Affinity Storm over there. Here comes the Grape Shot. Yeah, I mean, I think even though it has Trample, we're just going to block this anyways, because we would like to save at least 3 points of this 15 life swing. Alright, Titan or Bust. We might even be able to kill them with Titan, but Primeval Titan. Oh, come on! Alright, yeah, we're just dead. Well, that does happen sometimes. When you're playing a Primeval Titan deck, you sign up to draw Titan and win, or not draw Titan and probably lose, so... Yeah, I mean, I'm still not feeling like this member is super relevant here. Pithy Needle naming Shadow Spear or Cranial Plating actually seems like it might be quite relevant, so I don't mind having a Pithy Needle here. We do have to cut one, though. I don't know what it should be. Could just be map. I don't know if I like that, though. Actually, I don't mind cutting the map. Even though in that particular situation, if we had drawn Saga, we could crack it for map and get Tolaria West. I think that's usually unlikely to come up, and if we're not getting Amulet off of our Saga, then getting a Needle to name Cranial Plating seems like it might just be the best choice. So. Or Shadow Spear, of course, depending. We'll say yes and be on the play. We have turn 1 Grazer out of Saga. That's got to be quite strong. We have Ghost Quarter for their Sagas, which is not something I was thinking about, but it's nice to have Ghost Quarter around for that reason. We definitely keep this. I definitely think Grazering out of Saga is the best possible choice. They could have something crazy like Fragmentize or something to kill our Saga, and that would be pretty tragic, but at least it doesn't put us down an actual land drop because we would still have played the Force for turn 1, so... Would slow them down a little bit. Not really us, though. Especially since all of our lands are currently entering untapped with this hand, so... And we have Garen Break for Titan mana. Looking pretty good here. I guess the only thing we need to do is top deck a Dryad of the Elysian Grove. That's all that's remaining at this point. They mulligan to 6. I guess we could also just straight up top deck Titan and be able to have Titan set up Valcut and something else and then Summoner's Pact for Dryad. And that would work as well. It wouldn't be ideal, but it would work. Alright, they keep their 6. Of course, we're going to lead out Grazer and Saga, trying to get this Amulet ASAP. We could even get some constructs with the Saga, thanks to the fact that Grazer put it out on turn 1. Turn 1 Grazer into Saga just feels so good. Ornithopter. We'll block it. 0-2 meet 0-3. Flying, reach. What you gotta say about it? Alright. Explosives. Woo, that could be quite good. I think we're going to save that one in reserve and keep it our little secret so our opponent doesn't know about it. We'll play Garen Rig here, of course, and we'll pass it back. We'll just make a token here. If we end up playing explosives on 0 and blowing it up, you know, that's the price I'm willing to pay. Sorry, Saga tokens, but we had something more important to do. I think explosives on 2 could be quite good if they have the cranial plating. Ginger Brute. Oh no, it has haste. Whatever can we do? Ooh, they're attacking with it? We can just make the dude and trade. Like, this seems questionable, but okay. We'll block. This guy doesn't have first strike or anything, right? Yeah, I mean, this is just free, so... Mutagenic growth? I don't know. We didn't forget about our Saga. This has other text. Alright, we'll draw and see what we hit. Grazer. Yeah, whatever. Let's just make another dude. And we'll search for none other than Amulet of Vigor. I mean, we could play Pithing Needle. We don't really need Amulet for this hand to pan out. Actually, to be honest, getting Expedition Map might have been quite good here, since we might just be a land away from Titan, but I'm just going to get Amulet. And we'll fetch out a tap Breeding Pool, because I'm not playing around Blood Moon at this point. And then we'll play Grazer and put in this Ghost Quarter, and next turn we'll have Titan off of any land source. We still have explosives to interact, so not super worried about anything here. Pass it to our opponent. No swings for the memes. Don't see a reason for it. All the indestructible artifact lands, huh? Monitor. You got it. I guess ghost courting one of these lands would be just a strictly horrible idea, right? I mean, we could do that just to see if they have a basic land. All right, any land. There we go. That is a land. And here we can even play around Blood Moon by just getting Forest, so... We'll go ahead and get this Titan guy, put him into play. We can even attack with it through our opponent's board because it's free. So we'll do that. And I guess we're just setting up Talari West here. And I think we want to pick up the Garrison just so we have bounce land in hand. I kind of want to attack with the Construct too. Is that crazy? I don't think that's crazy. We'll swing with both. You can get in the red zone, little 2/2 guy. All right, we went to Talari West. And probably just Simic Growth Chamber, to be completely honest. We could get Valakut, pay 4, pick up the Talari West with Garrison, transmute it. We wouldn't be able to play Dryad, I don't think. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, we would be able to transmute and play Dryad. Oh wait, we wouldn't even have to play a bounce side to pick up the Talari West, because we just bounced the Talari West. So we have Simic Growth Chamber, Breeding Pool, and one other land untapped. That's 4. Play Garrison, transmute, play Dryad, play Garrison. The second time have Valakut triggers. Or at least one. I don't know what the likelihood is they're going to kill our Titan. But that's if we get Simic Growth Chamber. We can't get Valakut triggers if we don't have a Valakut in play. What am I saying? I think it's just definitely Simic Growth Chamber. I don't know what I was doing all this thinking about. And, yeah, we'll just pick up the Talari West. No reason to float anything. This is our attack phase, so... And, yeah, I mean, we could Explosives on 2 here, just to save some mana. I don't know if that's the play, though. I'm just going to pass it back. We even have Double Force to play around Blood Moon if they had it. Dispatch. Quite possible. In which case we can just transmute and pack for a second Titan. Block. I will block. Yeah, Dispatch doesn't... I mean, if Dispatch is hitting a Dryad, it seems very good. If it's hitting Primeval Titan, it seems not very good. But that's just me. Them having another land here is actually very good for us. They play the 4/4. Block. All right. I think we're just tapping the Ghost card at this point. It doesn't seem to be doing much. I guess we tap the Slayers. Is there a chance that we want to haste and attack with the Dryad? I don't think so. What if we draw second Amulet? We play Amulet, play Garrison, cast it. No, wait, we'd have to transmute first. Yeah, no, I don't think that there's any way we can make use of a haste land here, so I'm just going to tap the Stronghold. We'll draw. Growth Chamber. Well, I mean, I guess we're just transmuting. We could always wait until next turn. Our opponent doesn't have any black lands in play, so I'm not going to play around. Sorry. I was going to say, our opponent doesn't have any black mana, so we don't have to play around them having, like, a Thoughtseize or something, so I'm just going to go ahead and transmute now. And I guess we get the Garrison into play as well, so that we don't have to do any workarounds to haste a Titan. And I think we can just pick up the Ghost Quarter here, I think. I'm not seeing it having any relevant targets at this point, so... Do we want to play the explosives yet? I still don't think we want to blow up just a measly Ornithopter, so... We could play it on 2 to play around the cranial plating, but we can't blow it up anyway, so I'm just going to wait on the explosives. Again, no reason to get into any kind of hurry here. I guess we don't want to yield in case they have something crazy and we need to pack in response, I suppose. Saga. Well, that's a beautiful Ghost Quarter target. Assuming our opponent's not just dead this upcoming turn anyways. And they scoop the match. Well, our opponent seems to think they were dead this upcoming turn, so... Anyways, that was a pretty cool match against a Affinity deck, which I'm very glad Affinity is back in the format, personally. I haven't really said a whole lot about this on the channel, but I actually really like that Urza Saga has brought some life to various artifact strategies in Modern, even the Asmore food decks. As much as I hate to play against that matchup, just because our deck is very weak to Asmore in particular, it is a 0-mana 3/3. It dies to Bolt, it dies to Fatal Push, it dies to Prismatic Ending for 1, it dies to all kinds of stuff. So I can't complain about the Asmore food deck. And just in general, Saga has seemed to be a pretty fun card. And of course, I love playing it in Titan as well, not only for searching for Amulet, but also giving us a additional grinding tool in the very slow matchups like Control and Black-Green mid-range. So, anyways, I love to see that diversity, and it doesn't hurt that Affinity is a good matchup, of course, but anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed that as much as I did, and I will see you guys for the last match where maybe we'll get this 4-1, maybe we'll end up 3-2. Either way, I'm happy, and hopefully you are too. And I will see you guys in the next match. This is Redface Menace, signing off.